Hey y'all, it's Lindsey. My health has felt suboptimal for a while now, and I've decided to dig into a few other variables in the whole health equation to see if I can't modify that in some way, shape, or form. If you're new here, I am Lindsey. I share a lot of things about my personal quest for health and wellness. I do follow a low-carb, keto-friendly way of eating, and I like to share things like that on my channel, whether it's what I eat in a day videos, recipe videos, just talking about how the keto-friendly lifestyle impacts my health in general. A whole plethora of things, honestly. If any of that content sounds intriguing to you, I would love for you to poke around my channel and consider subscribing. Thank you so much to my returning viewers for sticking with me through this season of my life. Okay, we're gonna see if this angle of attack does a little bit better. My lighting has been really wonky. It has been gray overcast with the sun just trying to, sneak through any little crevice or weak spot in the clouds that it can find, so my lighting is changing a lot. I have been following a keto-friendly way of eating for years at this point, and in the very beginning of my quest for finding weight loss, keto was awesome. I found that I felt really good on a keto way of eating, or a keto-friendly way of eating, because ketosis is a chemical metabolic state of being rather than a food. So I did the keto thing for a really long time. I got pregnant, moved over to Trim Healthy Mama, moved back to keto once I weaned my youngest. So short overview for you there. I found that I really liked doing a lot of different things. Putting myself into some kind of just a box of parameters forever and ever, amen, is not my jam. I like to find other things or interesting markers or a whole variety of just different thoughts and ways of doing things, just so I don't get bored. I also found that the more that you follow a healthy lifestyle for your specific body, the more things you start to be more attuned to and start to notice a little bit more readily, I suppose. And I've noticed a few things that are a little bit wonky that I would love to A, figure out, and B, correct, so I can get back to feeling optimal in my body. At the end of winter, beginning of spring this current year, 2022, I had blood work done as a yearly routine checkup, and I didn't really pay attention to very many things other than my glucose and my waist to height measurement ratio type things. Other than that, I was like, everything is in the normal range except for cholesterol, but that's expected because I'm on a high-fat, low-carb diet. I'm not concerned about the cholesterols. So I just scooted on about my life. After that blood work, my husband and I went to Scotland, and then we have gone to Cabo, and then we went to Ireland and Sicily, all within the past 6 months. Seems like a lot whenever you just sort of boil it down like that. In each of those trips, there were a variety of things that we would eat that would not be friendly to a ketogenic way of life. And I was starting to get curious about a little bit of inflammation, a little bit of weight gain from those things. And in my investigations, I stumbled onto uric acid. You might know uric acid as sort of the culprit of gout. And in my family, there are people that have a history of having had gout. So that sort of struck a chord in my brain, and I decided to go researching that. On YouTube here, there is Dr. Goldkamp, who is the keto naturopath. He has been putting out a plethora of uric acid information on his channel. He has a lot of awesome ways of explaining uric acid, and I really appreciate the content he has put out. He's been doing this for months at this point on the uric acid. So I've gone through and watched/listened to a lot of his information. I also bought the book Drop Acid by Dr. Perlmutter, and I'm like halfway through this one, and there are lots of things in here I don't agree with, but there are lots of very valuable pieces of information in here, lots of research that he has compiled. It's been a really interesting book for me. And I am convinced at this point that I need to be monitoring my uric acid levels. Going back to my blood work in the early spring, I checked to see what my uric acid levels were, and it showed me Dr. Goldcamp has convinced me that I need to be testing regularly for my uric acid, and I need to be in an optimal range of 2.0 to 4.0 as a female. In order to do that, I needed to get a uric acid blood monitor. I searched and I came across the Fora 6. Reverse it for a moment. Fora Care actually emailed me about 2 months prior to me just like digging into the uric acid stuff and things, and said, hey, we have this blood monitor that does ketones and glucose. And at the time I thought, I'm really content with the monitors that I have. I've got a system that I like really, really well right now. I'm just gonna sideline that for a few minutes. Well, it was longer than a minute, but anyway, when the Fora 6 popped up as being able to take uric acid strip tests and ketones and glucose and cholesterol, I thought, okay, an all-in-one, I'm going to go for that. I'm going to try it. So I let them know that I did want to try out this product. They sent me this monitor and the lancing device and ketone and glucose strips. So to test like for, your GKI, if you were following the Keto Mojo thing, or your Dr. Boz ratios. They sent me all of the tools and supplies for that. But I'm curious about uric acid. So I went on their site and purchased, I've got a little kit right here. I purchased for myself the uric acid strips. I bought 2 boxes of 10 each. They're not cheap, but I'm only going to be testing once per week just to get a rough estimate on the amount of uric acid flowing through my body at a snapshot point in time. I have been trying out the little Fora Care device. This is the Fora 6. They have a few different models. This is really compact. This smaller than the palm of my hand. Like I said, it does ketones, glucose, uric acid, and cholesterol. I do not have the cholesterol strips, so I don't know how those function, but so far I'm really liking this. It has a few different features on it where you can actually turn the beep off, which I prefer. I don't enjoy all the beeping that happens in my house all the time, so the fact that I can tell this don't beep is big. It has a little eject slider, so you don't have to touch the used strips. You can get the Fora 6 strips in either the individually wrapped packets or in the larger vials like this. This is 50 of the glucose strips and the 50 ketone strips. I personally prefer the little vials just because it's like a little easier for me to manage in the mornings, and these little packets are just more fiddly for me personally, and I understand the value of having them individually sealed, but I do prefer the little vials. Their lancing device is fine. It's just like any other lancing device I've used. All of that to say, the little Fora 6, I have been enjoying using it so far. I am going to message the company to see if I can get a discount code for y'all, and so that I can get a discount as well on these strips, because when it comes to testing, these little strips are not the cheapest. Whether you're using a Keto Mojo or Keto Coach or the Fora Care or the Keto BM Plus that I was using before getting the Fora 6, none of them are cheap. They are all an investment, and at this point in my quest for health, I am willing to make the investment up front to try to figure out how to move forward well so I become optimal. So that is currently what my brain has been focused on. Uric acid, oh my gosh, the uric acid. In a lot of the recent videos, I have discussed feeling foggy in my brain, feeling like I just can't quite grasp everything, feeling like there's so many things happening, and I'm always feeling as if my legs have been just like kicked out from under me. And I started to really think, what if uric acid is the problem that I'm suffering right now? There is a lot of research that shows uric acid contributing to insulin resistance, contributing to the dementia and Alzheimer's development, and all of these pieces of the puzzle that cause your memory to just fade away, stop working, be ineffective, all of those things. And those are pieces of the puzzle that I have been struggling with tremendously lately. Aside from the little bit of extra poundage gained due to all the traveling and being not the one preparing my food. I am really focused on this uric acid business, trying to figure out what I can do, what kind of things I can change. And I think that Fora 6 uric acid monitor, I mean, it's not just a uric acid monitor, but the Fora 6 blood monitor is going to help me get that baseline of data week over week to see how my uric acid is doing. Now, I've never done at-home testing of uric acid, so it's gonna just kind of be a collection point right now rather than a diagnostic tool. That's where we are with that. That's what my brain has been just really honing in on lately. The weight matters to me. The vitamin absorption matters to me. How my body functions matters to me, but ultimately my brain. I can raise my weight and I can lower my weight just by choosing what to eat and when and how. I have a lot of tools to manipulate that number. I want to have better tools to be able to support my brain health ultimately, because I have had grandparents deal with Alzheimer's and dementia, and it is one of those diseases that once it starts, there is not a lot to reverse it. And if I can protect myself on the front end, hopefully on the back end, it will pay off in spades. That's what I've got going on in my brain right now. It's a little bit muddled, but it's all there. And I just wanted to share that with you. My oven timer is about to go off and I need to go tend that. It's bacon. It's baked bacon. And that's where I'm going to leave you. I really appreciate you coming along with me. I will see if Fora Care will let me have a coupon code so that you can test this out for yourself if uric acid is one of those things that you also are thinking about these days. And I'll leave that in the description if I get one. And I'll talk to y'all later.